In the shadows of secrecy and the depths of courage, a breed of warriors exists who redefine the limits of human capability. They are the elite, the chosen few who have transcended ordinary boundaries to become legends among legends. In this gripping exploration, we delve into the heart-pounding realm of the deadliest special force units in the world. Brace yourself for a journey that will take you behind closed doors, where the fiercest warriors are forged and where only the strongest survive. Prepare to witness the unparalleled dedication, unwavering discipline, and unmatched skill that sets these extraordinary soldiers apart. This is a world where danger lurks around every corner, where split-second decisions mean the difference between life and death. Today, we will talk about the deadliest special force units in the world. So before starting this video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for our future updates. Number 10. GSG-9, Germany. The German Federal Police's tactical team is GSG-9, which is also known as the Border Protection Group 9. It can do things like rescue prisoners, stop terrorists, and make high-risk arrests. They are also known for coming up with new ways to do these tasks. The team was set up after the Munich Olympics massacre in 1972, in which 11 Israelis and a German police officer were killed. The situation was very bad because the German police didn't have the training or tools they needed to protect people or stop terrorist attacks. Within a month of the event, the German government gave the federal police, GSG-9, the job of stopping anything like it from happening again. Number 9. GIGN, France. After the Munich massacre in 1972 and the Clairvaux prison mutiny the year before, the French government decided they needed a specialized law enforcement unit to deal with things like organized crime, internal terrorist attacks, and hostage situations in the future. So in 1974, the National Gendarmerie Intervention Group, a military unit of the French Armed Forces National Gendarmerie, was made. GIGN is known for being quick to respond and having advanced fighting skills in dangerous scenarios. It can work anywhere in the world. It is said that the group has been on more than 1,800 trips. As it is now, the GIGN is divided into 6 parts. The main attack unit is called Intervention Force, and it is made up of 4 platoons of 24 operators each. Number 8. JWGROM, Poland. JWGROM is one of Poland's 6 special operations units. It is also one of the most powerful special forces in the world. GROM workers are called the surgeons because they have so much medical training and are so good at their jobs. It began in the year 1990. In its early years, GROM took ideas from other elite groups like the British SAS, the US Delta Force, and the US SEALs. People didn't know about JWGROM until 1992, when it was first mentioned in the news. After its first big military operation in Haiti in 1995, it became well known to most people. GROM was a very important part of the Polish invasion of Iraq in 2003. Its job was to protect important assets and fight against insurgencies. Number 7. Sayeret Matkal, Israel. Sayeret Matkal, or the General Staff Reconnaissance Unit, is one of the IDF's special troops. It was made after the infamous Kibbutz massacre and the firing of Unit 101, which was the IDF's only committed special force at the time, besides Sayeret 13, which was part of the Navy. Sayeret Matkal is mainly a reconnaissance or intelligence gathering unit, but it can work far behind enemy lines. It also has to rescue hostages and stop terrorist attacks. Before 1974, Sayeret Matkal was the only group in charge of domestic rescue missions. This changed when Yamam, Israel's national counter-terrorism unit, was created. The success of Operation Entebbe in 1976 showed the world how far Sayeret Matkal could reach and what it could do. On July 4th, about 100 Israeli soldiers, including Sayeret Matkal operators, stormed Uganda's Entebbe airport and freed more than 100 people who had been taken hostage. Number 6. Australia's Special Air Service Regiment. One of the most recognized special operations groups in the world is the Special Air Service Regiment, or SASR. It is a part of the Australian Defence Forces Special Operations Command. It was made on July 24, 1957, based on the ideas of the British SAS. In 1964, it was made a regiment. After it was set up, SASR slowly got field training from the Service's Reconnaissance Department's Special Forces units that were active during the Second World War. SASR operators are trained to work in small teams for covert tasks and surveillance, and in large groups for full-scale raids. In addition to being experts at fighting terrorism, SASR is also responsible for training local troops and saving Australians who are being held hostage. Number 5. Delta Force USA. Over the past few years, the name Delta Force has come to mean Special Forces. It's a name that almost everyone knows, but this wasn't how it was meant to be. Delta Force, whose official name is 1st Special Forces Operational Detachment Delta, is a secretive special operations team that was created to go after high-value targets and do things like fight terrorism, free hostages, and do reconnaissance. Charles Beckwith, a Special Forces officer who had worked as an exchange officer with the British Army's Special Air Service during the Malayan Emergency, came up with the idea for this kind of unit. He suggested a force that is very flexible and independent, and that is good at doing covert tasks. In an interview, Paul Ho, a former member of Delta Force, talked about how many people dropped out of his Delta selection training. Out of the 240 people in his two groups, only 12 to 14 finished the course. Number 4. Russia's Alpha Group. Some of you may be thinking about what Spetsnaz is all about. Spetsnaz is an umbrella term for all of the Soviet and Russian special forces. The Soviet KGB set up Alpha Group, which is officially called Directorate A of the FSB Special Purpose Center, in 1974, to carry out anti-terrorist operations and give the Soviet leadership an extra layer of protection. At the moment, the Federal Security Service, which is Russia's internal security service, is in charge of Alpha Group. People think that the Alpha Group workers are among the most aggressive in the world. During the time of the Soviet Union, the Alpha Group took part in armed interventions in Afghanistan, Lebanon, and the Baltic area. On the home front, it has been involved in almost every big operation against terrorists, such as the Moscow Theater Siege in 2002 and the Beslan School Siege in 2004. Number 3. Sayeret 13, Israel. Sayeret 13 is the Israeli Navy's Special Forces unit. It is very good at counterinsurgency, maritime sabotage, search and rescue, and reconnaissance tasks. It is one of the oldest and most respected special operations teams in the world, on par with the British Special Boat Service and the US Navy SEALs. Since its founding in 1964, Sayeret 13 has been active in almost every major Israeli war, such as the Six-Day War and the War of Attrition, where it helped Sayeret Matkal fight Egyptian forces. Sayeret 13 operators took part in the 1973 Israeli raid on Lebanon. During that raid, the IDF and Mossad struck several top leaders of the Palestine Liberation Organization and Black September in Lebanon. It is thought to be a part of Operation Wrath of God, which Israel started to get back at the people who killed people in the Munich Massacre in 1972. Number 2. Navy SEALs, US. Navy SEALs, which stands for United States Navy Sea, Air, and Land Teams, were made in 1962 as a part of the Naval Special Warfare Command and the United States Special Operation Command. Even though the SEALs can be traced back to World War II, they didn't really start until the Vietnam War in 1961. In the last few decades, Navy SEALs have been sent to active war zones, like the attack on Iraq in 2003. Without question, Operation Neptune Spear was the Navy SEALs' biggest success. Their ways of teaching are very harsh and are often called brutal. Before joining the SEALs, the normal candidate goes through a great physical and mental training program for more than a year. Number 1. Special Air Service, Great Britain. The Special Air Service is one of Britain's oldest and possibly best special troops. It started in 1941. There are 3 parts to the Special Air Service: the 22 SAS Regiment, the 21 SAS, and the 23 SAS Reserve Groups. There are 4 current squadrons in the 22 SAS Regiment: A, B, D, and G. Each squadron has about 65 guys, who are split into 4 groups called troops. Each troop has its own part of the headquarters, which is led by a captain. During the war in Afghanistan, the British SAS was very important. During a joint rescue operation with the US Special Forces called Jubilee, The SAS troops were able to get the hostages out of Badakhshan province in Afghanistan without anyone getting hurt. You can tell how important the British SAS was by the fact that many of the strongest special forces in other countries were first based on SAS ideas. The American Delta Force is a good example. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching!